The wealthiest and most influential man of his time made a decision that would make any modern psychiatrist question his sanity. He wasn't running from creditors, an impending war, or a personal tragedy. On the contrary, he was at his peak, living in the most advanced city in the world, Ur of the Chaldeans, a center of commerce, status, and unrivaled comfort. But, in an instant, he set his entire identity, his comfort, and his predictable future on fire, turning them into ashes. He took his family and his assets and turned his back on the only reality he knew. The question isn't whether he was blessed, but why the hell did he do it? This story isn't about religion or theology. It is about the architecture of radical ambition, the cost of mediocrity, and the price you must pay so that your life stops being just a comfortable repetition and becomes an undeniable legacy. Abraham, before being the patriarch, was Abram, a successful businessman, a pillar of the community, a man who had already won the game of social life. Ur was the apex of civilization. Think of Ur as the New York or Dubai of today. Its walls were the guarantee of security. Its economy was stable. Life was predictable. Living in Ur was the ultimate prize. For most people, reaching this level of security and status was the final goal. But for Abram, Ur had become a golden sarcophagus. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It doesn't come with smoke and fire. It settles in like a soft fog that obscures your vision of the future, making the present too warm and pleasant to be questioned. The first great insight that Abraham's story offers us is this: what you need to leave behind isn't always bad. Often it is something good, but something that has become too small for your destiny. Most of us are trapped in our own private Ur. It might be a stable job that pays the bills but steals your soul. It might be a family relationship that offers safety but suppresses your growth. It is the good enough mindset that settles in and builds an invisible glass ceiling over your head. You can see the sky, you can see the stars, but you cannot reach them. Abraham realized that the greatest risk wasn't the desert ahead, but the stagnation in the city behind him. Staying in Ur meant being a big part of something small. Leaving Ur was the only chance to become the seed of something infinitely bigger. He needed to unlearn the concept of security, as society defined it. Security, for the conforming mind, is the knowledge of tomorrow. Security, for the destiny creator, is the unshakable confidence in one's ability to adapt and in one's vision, regardless of what tomorrow brings. The call that drove him didn't come with a detailed map. He didn't know where he was going, only that he could no longer stay where he was. This is crucial. Many people wait for the perfect route, the 100% guarantee of success, before taking the first step. They remain paralyzed, waiting for the full script. Abraham, the architect of his own fortune, received only a promise and a direction. Go to the land I will show you. He had to trade certainty for potential. And that is the hardest psychological barrier you will face when seeking true wealth and meaning. Are you willing to trade what is guaranteed today for what is possible tomorrow? Think of it like a ship in the harbor. It is safe, but that is not what it was built for. The ship's purpose is realized only when it is exposed to the turbulence of the ocean. Abram understood that his life's purpose would not be realized within the predictable limits of Ur. Abraham's journey teaches us that trust is the fuel, and the fear of wasting potential is the engine. He feared the slow death of mediocrity more than the quick death in the desert. But the departure from Ur wasn't the end of the test. It was just the beginning. The true lesson about the cost of ambition manifests in the steps that followed. He encountered scarcity. The promised land was initially hostile and full of challenges. There was famine. He had to lie to save his own skin. He had to deal with internal conflicts, such as the friction with his nephew Lot, whose herdsmen competed for the same resources. What does this tell us about the journey of growth? That the grand vision you have for yourself does not cancel out the trivial reality of the day-to-day. You may have the promise of being the CEO of your own life, but you will still have to take out the trash, deal with bureaucracy, and sometimes go hungry. Faith in your vision is not a shield against adversity. It is merely a map ensuring that the adversity will not be in vain. Many give up at this point. When hard work doesn't immediately align with the dreamed reward, they think, maybe I should have stayed in Ur. Abraham, however, developed the nomad mindset. He never settled permanently again. He lived in tents. The tent is the ultimate metaphor for transience. And what is transience in the modern world? It is the ability not to attach oneself to structures, methods, or assets that have stopped generating growth. Abraham's tent represents agility. How many people lose fortunes and opportunities because they are emotionally tied to an old house, an obsolete business model, or an identity that has already expired? Abraham teaches us that to succeed on a monumental scale, you must be willing to live in a state of constant re-evaluation. Your base of operations must be easily foldable and transportable. If your business isn't working, you fold it and move. If your method is obsolete, you fold it and adapt. You must refuse to build cathedrals on land that isn't yours. The peak of this story of self-mastery occurs when Abram's identity is finally replaced. God, or fate, or his own internal consciousness, decides that the name Abram no longer fits. Abram means exalted father. Abraham means father of a multitude. This isn't just a name change, it is a mission change. He needed to renounce his old name, his old reputation, his old history, his limited self, to align with the person he was destined to become. You can never achieve exponential level wealth or significant impact by remaining loyal to your linear level identity. The person you are today is not the person who will hold the wealth tomorrow. The person you are today holds the habits, fears, and limiting beliefs that created your current reality. To have Abraham's wealth, you need to kill Abram. This means identifying and abandoning the narratives you tell yourself about who you are. I am a person who isn't good at sales. I am a person who can't accumulate money. I am a person trapped in this job. Abraham had to leave Ur physically, but he had to leave Abram, the resident of Ur, mentally. He had to stop identifying with the safety of the walls and start identifying with the vastness of the future. Abraham's final sacrifice, the most famous one, is the icing on the cake of the psychology of divestment. When he was asked to sacrifice his son, Isaac, what was really at stake wasn't the boy's life, but Abraham's attachment to his promise. If Isaac was the heir to the promise and Abraham loved him, sacrificing him meant sacrificing the very realization of his journey. It was the final test to know if Abraham's loyalty was to the outcome, having a son, or to the process, trusting in destiny. And here is the most brutal practical lesson for your life. If your mind is holding you back from moving forward, what you value most in your life today, your time, your money, your safest relationship, might be exactly what destiny will ask you to place on the altar to prove that you are serious about your growth. You can only receive the next blessing after proving you are not attached to the current one. Most people fail this test. They protect what they have so fiercely that they end up repelling what they could have. They cling to the empty shell of their past for fear of facing a future without guarantees. Abraham became rich, but not through accumulation. He became rich through liberation. He released the need for absolute security in Ur. He released the need for certainties and maps. He released the identity of Abram, and he was willing to release even his greatest prize.